company called Europa Oil and Gas have submitted a plan to frack for gas in the village of Burniston. The company might like to say it's not fracking, but it is. They then plan to extend right through the villages of Cloughton, Scarborough, just devastating this North Yorkshire coast, and to turn this area into the largest gas field in the UK. This is a map of the area. The yellow line is the national park boundary. The drilling rig is going to be here, 1 kilometre away. It's incredibly near the Cleveland Way, running right down the heritage coast, very close to the cliffs, very close to housing. We're making this film because we desperately need help. We urgently need as many people as possible to object to this application.
The impact that a drill rig will have on this area could be devastating.
I couldn't believe that they would even consider doing it somewhere which is so beautiful and unspoilt.
This is the local cinder track. It goes all the way from Scarborough up to Whitby. So it's a really beautiful place to come for walks, used by loads of people, horse riders, cyclists. You can see the sea in all its changing colours. In the summer it's beautiful as well.
You can see the Burniston village again on your right.
Heartbreaking really, because people come on holiday here. They come for the scenery, they come to see the sea, to walk by the sea.
And we have the Cleveland Way, runs right along the east coast. So we're worried about the stability of the cliffs and what the fracking might do to the cliffs.
The dinosaur coastline is a very fragile environment. The process of drilling into the ground very near to the coastline is highly likely to increase the danger of cliff falls.
There's so many natural springs, like all these fields, it's really lovely. Natural springs come up, and on the farm they've got natural springs, and we don't know, would that be contaminated?
Scarborough uniquely gets all its water from groundwater.
They're going to be drilling down through our water table.
If Europa go through and contaminate it as they go through it, and anything we suck out is no good anymore. Or it could just disappear. If they make a crack in the rock, our water could disappear and we could be without water.
My biggest worry is the pollution for all of the people that live in this beautiful area, the toxic gases that will be released in the drilling process.
There'll be flares from the rig giving off methane, carbon dioxide, sulphur dioxide, quite probably detrimental health effects on our children walking to school.
The local school is less than a mile from the drilling site. Local children and families and people of all ages use the new cycle track, which is very, very close to the drilling rig.
There'll also be the pollution of the HGVs.
1,000 heavy goods vehicles.
You've seen Burniston, it can't cope with what's going through the village already.
We have a lot of wildlife here, particularly birds, migrating birds, that you don't see in other parts of the country. There's a site of special scientific interest. It is of great importance conservation-wise. We've planted 9 woodlands and we do a lot of planting crops for the birds and the insects.
We've got some beautiful owls around here, really stunning owls. They have to have really high-powered lights, a bit like you have on a rugby stadium. It's going to completely affect all of the biodiversity, having unnatural light all the time.
Even the sea life, we see dolphins in the sea sometimes.
All of the wildlife and the ecosystems could be disturbed by the awful noise, the awful pollution that would come out of this rig.
Before they actually start the drilling, they have to do a seismic survey, which means that there will be people and machines travelling across every acre of land. It can have an effect on the wildlife and the birds in the area. They're putting charges down and putting vibrations through the soil.
We will lose the wildlife, we will lose the unique ecosystems that are part of the habitats on this North Yorkshire coastline. I haven't met one person that I've spoken to since the announcement was made by the company wanting to come and drill for gas in Burniston. I haven't met one person who thinks it's a good idea.
This is going to affect everybody in this area.
The pipelines don't just go down vertically, they go horizontally, under houses, under the roads.
There could potentially be some tremors.
It's going to be flood leak because it's a 24/7 operation.
So along that part, which is an area of darkness, it's like light pollution for local people that live there.
And we've got the noise a few yards from all of the houses that are around here.
We were just looking for somewhere quiet where we could spend the rest of our days, the lovely countryside around us, and all that could be shattered by this proposal.
The whole thing just makes me feel quite anxious, if I'm honest. I don't know how we will cope with the noise not being able to sleep properly, not being able to sit in the garden, just hearing the birds like we used to. I think it'll have a pretty awful impact on our mental health, our physical well-being. It's just so horrible to think about, frankly. Who is going to want to buy a house near a fracking site?
Yes.
An industrial site that's dirty, noisy.
Yes. And they made the example of the evidence for prices not going down was based on sandbanks down, a very expensive area down in the south of England. Now I've been to sandbanks recently, and I couldn't see it from where the really expensive flash flats are. Whereas here, the ring's going to be right in the line of sight of people that live all the way near Scarborough Mills, looking up that way to the farms from there,
and the people that are up on
the
rises up in the hills.
And that's going to affect families when you have all the properties are reduced.
It's going to affect our major industry, which is tourism.
Thousands of tourists visit this area every year.
Tourists come from all over for the countryside, for the sheer beauty of the landscape, looking out to Scarborough Castle that's been there for centuries.
I think this will have a catastrophic impact on the economy, all of the tourism. It's just going to bring a lot of noise, a lot of pollution, and have an impact on thousands of lives of people that live in these villages in the town of Scarborough.
Their plan is to continue drilling for 20 years.
The potential downstream emissions of 20 years of drilling for gas, that would have a huge impact long term, 2 decades.
I feel angry that the oil and gas industry, at this time in our history, when we've had a succession of the hottest years on record, when we've had an increasing number of extreme weather events in the UK and across the world, when all the scientific evidence is that we're reaching irreversible tipping points in our climate. Yeah, I'm angry that they are proposing, in the interests of private profit, to come and drill and extract yet more fossil fuels, which will be burnt and add to climate change. And I'm angry that the companies are telling half-truths, trying to convince us that there's nothing to see here, when they must know what we know is that science says it is absolutely ridiculous to be producing more oil and gas.
Why don't they put solar panels up here?
When we're in an area which is really windy, why not like offshore wind farms? Or
we just cannot keep allowing dirty fossil fuel extraction developments like this. It's not doing our planet, our world, our future for our children any good whatsoever. If we get fracking here, if we get prop and squeeze, they can call it what they like, it's going to completely ruin it. We're up against a huge corporate giant, and what are we? We're just a tiny little village, but we can do it. If we can gather kind of national help in objecting to this, we can overturn it.
Please, anybody that's watching this, tell your friends.
Raise awareness.
Share this as far and as wide as you can.
Go on to the Frack Free Coastal Communities website.
And put in an objection to the planning application.
Please do that, just take 5 minutes.
All the details are on the website. We just need as much help as we can get.